principals. This is about navigating in the AI era, especially for K-12 spaces. So today is not about thinking about, oh, when is it coming? AI is here. So the question is, how do we lead through it and lead through it responsibly? So hopefully this framework helps you really think strategically about how AI in school typically works, right? It usually falls into these three buckets, these three different categories. One is predictive, two is generative, and the third is agentic, right? Predictive AI really helps us forecast outcomes, and it identifies where we can provide support, right? And so generative AI really creates content. We're talking about the lesson plans, the rubrics, even thinking about the translations. And agentic, right? Agentic AI can act towards our goals and pretty much adapt, which makes it that much more cooler. So, but here are the kind of ideas that matter. AI is a tool, and leadership pretty much determines the direction on where they want to take AI. So if we lead with clarity and ethics, it becomes a multiplier and a huge impact. So are you ready to lead this next initiative? So we have two sides, the potential on what it could be and then the risk. So try to be honest, the potential is so real. Research shows that personalized AI learning can improve student outcomes significantly, right? Teachers are saving more time, right? And administrators are saving time on tasks that they have daily. But we cannot ignore the risk. And to be honest, there are superficial outputs can lead to superficial learning. So we know hallucinations are happening. We know students, bias, exists. There are privacy gaps as well. And so even thinking about the over-reliance, which can weaken that independent thinking, which we all love so much. So the real work is not about choosing between that optimism, excitement, or kind of fear. It's kind of building those systems that maximize our potential while kind of actively mitigating some of the risk. Okay, guys, there are 4 pillars when I think about district implementation and things that I do at EI 360, right? AI implementation is kind of not a tech decision. Think of it as a true infiltration eco decision, right? Your ecosystem. So there are 4 pillars if you're thinking about introducing AI to your space. It's the political component, right? What is policy? What are the governance? What are the ethical kind of guidelines you need to have? And then it's the operational. That's kind of like your scheduling, your training, how are we incorporating family engagement in this? The technical component, like what are the audits? How are we having data integrity? What about cybersecurity? And then what are the guardrails even around that? And then the fiscal, right? The building budgeting, your licensing, and then kind of what is your ROI? What is your return on your investment? And one of the things I like to say, if one of those pillars are weak, the infrastructure kind of wobbles, right? And so strong district approach AI as a coordinated strategy, not just kind of random adoption of tools. So now here's the ethical compass that we need to kind of think about. And I like to say this slide is a non-negotiable that we kind of need to consider. This transparency means kind of people know when it is being used. And then the privacy component means kind of strict adherence to, of course, we have FERPA, COPA, right? And all the data agreements. And then fairness, right? How do we actively test for biases? And then the human agency means AI supports and it never kind of replaces the human touch. And then if we lose this kind of compass, we lose trust with our families, our students, our teachers. And without trust, that innovation can fall short and fail. All right, I am giving you the good, right? 6 steps to scale, right? Scaling AI requires a lot of discipline. So thinking of first, defining the vision. What is the vision? Where are you headed? Where you want to go? Second, audit leadership and our data systems. What are we using? And how do we incorporate all the things? Thinking about third, you need to pilot small, high impact areas, right? What do you want to change and who are going to lead these pilot initiatives? Fourth, build your staff capacity. And that takes training and support like professional development, which is what we do to help to ensure that everybody's moving along. And then fifth, thinking about locking in your kind of privacy and the compliance. And then, and only then, you scale based on your evidence of your ROI, right? If it's not working, then we wouldn't keep doing it, right? And so this prevents initiative fatigue, right? Starting over, keep trying. And then we move from this impulse action and adoption to true intentional expansion, right? This is the money shot here, you guys. Now, this is about the integration, right? And think of it on a spectrum. AI integration is not kind of this one-sided binary. It's kind of a spectrum, okay? At one end, there is no AI at all. So really think about where's your school now. And at the other end is AI exploration. We're co-designing things, right? We are in the weeds, right? And so in between, we see the planning, the collaboration, and the, directed AI usage. And so think here, the key highlights, not in every assignment needs full AI integration, right? And we decide and be very intentional about what we're doing. I always say, know your intentions and choose congruent behavior. So the goal is not kind of more AI. It's more about how do we increase deeper thinking? Now think about from fear to literacy. The AEER framework is really good. So when like educators feel kind of fearful, scared. It's often because sometimes there's a lack, right? And so think of this framework as this model moves us from uncertain to full-on literacy. And that's really being able to kind of diagnose some of the things that we're seeing. So one is attention, like understanding the tool of AI. Two is engagement. How do you grapple with it and have a hands-on use to kind of fail fast, right? And which brings me to the next one, error, right? Being able to fail fast, identify where kind of it fails, where it's unsuccessful, or where AI hallucinates. Then it's the reflection, right? How do we have clarity? We evaluate, okay, we finally found out what its role is, and then how do we move forward? And so as leaders, you can't really ask educators to use AI without truly teaching them how to use it, how to critique it, and how does literacy kind of builds confidence. So fail in front of your teachers. So now we're talking about the rollout of AI literacy. What does that look like? Implementation starts with you, the leader. Leaders must become informed, thinking about before expecting our teachers to follow along. Then we are very intentional about our design, aligning AI use with the district mission and the focus. So thinking how we addressing fear head on, aligning it through ethics training. And then we're thinking about how do we strategically integrate it into our existing structures. Remember, if your structure is suffering, AI will not help it. You have to have a thorough structure before implementation. And then think of it as not a one-day rollout PD. It's kind of this leadership posture. This is what we have become. There's no going back. So eat the frog quickly. All right, this is typically where a lot of teachers kind of want to start, is like the students' code of ethics, right? And really being clear, because not only do our teachers need clarity, so do our students need clarity. Thinking about what does academic integrity look like at your school, and while we're citing AI usage, think about the privacy first, how we protecting personal data, what does it mean to evaluate, what does the critical evaluation look like, how do we fact check on AI, what is our responsible use when we're using AI, what are the policies that are rolled out that are acceptable for my classroom. And then, think of, we are not banning AI, we're teaching ethical citizenship because our students are in a digital world. So let's wrap it up. AI is definitely not a replacement, and I want to solidify that right here. It's not a replacement for educators. Teachers bring so much more to the table: the empathy, the content, the moral, the more reasoning, the relationship intelligence. And there's no algorithm that can replace that, right? And so thinking of this role is being able to lead with vision, to limit risk, and to kind of amplify that human expertise that our educators have. And just thinking about this, we are leading a new initiative. So if we do this right, our AI doesn't diminish our education that we have, it strengthens it. And so this kind of movement is about leadership taking initiative. It's about responsibility that we have to give this next generation. And it's about building the next generation of schools that prepare our students for the world that they are entering. I hope you love this. Talk to you later. Bye.